Good morning and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I am located at 1563 Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I am right here on this station every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. to bring you, the Pennsylvania landowner, the information that you need regarding natural gas development here in Pennsylvania. And of course, at the Clark Law Firm, my focus is on landowner and only landowner and oil and gas right owner representation. Proudly can announce that I have not, will not, do not, and again, will not represent oil or gas companies. I represent landowners and oil and gas right holders only. Never represented companies, never have, never will. And in case you didn't hear it, I have never represented a pipeline or gas company, nor will I ever. I represent landowners for gas leases, negotiations, reviews, consultations, pipeline agreements, water line agreements, surface use agreements, compressor agreements, unitization issues, royalty issues, deduction issues, estate planning, real estate transactions in oil and gas areas, so on, so on, so on. Bottom line, represent Pennsylvania landowners for all oil and gas related issues. And I just want to touch on real quickly, reviews and consultations. If you have a document that you're considering signing, sorry, but commercial alert because I'm seeing it all the time, call the office, 570-307-0702, regardless of where you're located. 570-307-0702. I do reviews and consultations, take an hour or two typically, including the review of the documents, and we talk on the phone, or you're always welcome to the office. And I'm telling you, I promise you, we have got outstanding feedback. They have been such a great resource for landowners when you're presented documents, deciding, hey, do I even want to consider this? Or if you're getting closer to sign, my opinion strongly is you should never put pen to paper without having at least a review and consultation with someone who understands the issues and is looking out for you, the landowner, and not the gas or pipeline company. You cannot, should not, and, well, I guess you can, but you really shouldn't rely on the gas company employee or landman who represents the oil and gas companies, not you, the landowner. So learn more if you're thinking about signing or you're getting an offer, regardless of your location. I have clients in Wayne, I do have clients in Wayne County, Washington County, Beaver County, Armstrong, Westmoreland, so on, so on, so on, all across the western part of the state. Of course, Tioga County, Susquehanna, Bradford, Lycoming, Sullivan, on and on and on and on. So anyway, regardless of where you are, give us a call, learn about it, see if it's right for you. If I'm not right for you, find who is, because we need to get you this information before you sign, because we need to have people stop signing bad agreements. Stop being uninformed and signing bad agreements. And again, you can call us 570-307-0702. Go to pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Learn more, use it as a resource, learn more of what we do here, but check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Today's show will be up on Monday, and I'm going to tell you this. Picture in your mind a horse for at least a week chomping on a bit, and that is me getting ready and excited about doing today's radio show. I'll tell you, I don't know. Well, I get excited. Sometimes I'm super excited about shows. And I've said before, sometimes I'm tired. But I'll tell you this, I'm not tired today. I am not at all tired today. And if you hear this show today, stick with the show. Go check it out at pagasleaseattorney.com on Monday. Listen to it again. This, ladies and gentlemen, is just outstanding example of why you need to get information, of how companies build in loopholes that can cost you tens of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in cases of large landowners, millions of dollars. Not an exaggeration, totally truthful. So Do not shut. And I don't want to be like, don't turn the channel. But I'm telling you, I am super excited to give you this information today because it just blows my mind away that these documents are presented, people are signing, and people aren't understanding what they're signing. As always, never specific advice for anyone on the radio show. The specific advice that I do give is for you to go out and get specific advice from an experienced oil and gas attorney working for you to decide, is this right for you? So we're going to talk about general concepts, but I'm going to go through a lease. And in this case, it is the form lease. And now again, just because you don't have this lease or this company isn't in your area, stay tuned because the other companies do the similar type things. So this happens to be a lease presented by SWEPI LP. SWEPI LP. So Tioga County landowners, turn it up. SWEPI landmen out there listening, turn it up because you're going to hear the truth about certain aspects. Well, I tell you the truth all the time, but I'm going to touch on certain aspects of this lease, which I find to be very concerning as a landowner. And maybe you understand the concerns and you decide to sign, and I'm all for that. The problem is people aren't understanding the concerns. That's what we need to do. So the show today, we're going to explain some of them. But again, this is a general explanation. Everybody needs specific advice. So let's dive into it. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can join me right here every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. on this station. Okay, let's get to it. So, number one, I want to start off and say, look, companies do not signal if they are going to offer a higher per acre bonus or a higher royalty percentage or offer a royalty addendum provision that precludes or prohibits the company from taking deductions. What I mean is, the company doesn't ever say to you, well, yeah, if enough people demand more money, if enough landowners demand a higher royalty percentage, if enough landowners say, we're not going to sign a lease that allows you complete and total post-production cost deductions, well, then if that occurs, landowners, we're going to make a better offer to you. They don't do that. They say things like, well, here's the offer, $1,000, 10 years, never going to get any better, never going to get any better. No deductions, 12.5%. We're going to take full deductions, never going to get any better. Well, I'm sure there's people out there that have seen that, in fact, offers have become better. And same thing happens. Look, that was the same line that we heard at $50 an acre and 12.5%. And then we saw leases at $6,000, $7,000, and $8,000 an acre and 20 and 21% being offered to many, many hundreds and hundreds of landowners. So we have to understand, just because a company says, well, we're not going to do that, doesn't mean that they won't do that. Not saying that, hey, maybe they won't, but history has shown us time and time, literally thousands of times, thousands of people have been told, hey, we're not going to increase this offer. We're not going to change this. This is it. And then the offer changes. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens all the time now. I can't tell you, almost, not every, but almost every pipeline agreement that I'm involved in, almost every one that the landowner signs an agreement, they sign for more money than what was offered. I can't tell you personally how many times I have been told this is as good as it's going to get. Or even better, we counter with a certain demand on whether it be a pipeline, gas lease, whatever the case may be, especially, let's go pipelines a second. The company says, you're crazy, you're nuts. No, that's totally unreasonable. Say, fine, you have my number, you have my email address. If things change, get back in touch with me. If I all of a sudden become more reasonable, or my client does, and you've realized, maybe that's not so unreasonable, give me a buzz. Well, sure enough, there have been many, many times where I don't make the demands. I mean, I submit the demands, but they're not from me. They're based on what the client landowner agrees to or wants me to submit. submit it, and then all of a sudden, well, hey, I think we can do that. Just the other day, client, I'll go generic, but was offered a number. Let's say we'll give some hypotheticals in these type of ranges. Offered in the low couple $100,000 range. We said no. We want much closer to $1 million. And company, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. But if you'll have 2 weeks in this situation, you can either decide, or if you're going to come back, then the demand's going to be closer to $2 million. Well, what do you know? Landowner is going to get an extremely profitable deal here for literally several hundreds of thousands of more dollars than what was offered. Now, this was a very unique, it was a unique case, an interesting case, but it's a situation where you have to understand all the circumstances and be able to assess your leverage, maximize the leverage that you have while considering your risk tolerance. Now, that's the key point, and that's where it becomes individual. It becomes individual. One person's risk tolerance may not be as high as another person's. And what I mean by that is one person may say, well, I'm afraid this deal may go away, so I'm willing to take less money. I don't want to push it. Other people may say, you know what? I don't think this deal is going away. And if it does, it's okay. I can wait. I'll wait for another deal. And if it goes away forever, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm willing to take that chance. And so that's a different level of risk tolerance. Likewise, if the company's offering you, say, $50,000 and you say, well, I want to maybe push it to 75, but another landowner says, no, I want to push it to 150. Well, those are things that need to be factored in and discussed. And of course, you have to look at leverage. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. So, okay, what I want to do now, and I'm getting into it, it's going to be this show, and I'm telling you, I don't care who you're leased to or offered a lease. I don't care if it's a pipeline agreement. This is an amazing illustration as to how companies work and present documents. And when companies make changes to documents that they're typically offering, we have to examine that with great detail. Why are they doing it? Why are they changing? And I'm going to go through, again, SWEPI royalty provision here first. And I'm going to explain something. I'm telling you, I think you're going to find this very, 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 very interesting. If you're into this, if you care about this, there's no doubt in the world you're going to find it interesting. So, okay, this is going to be a good time. I'm going to take my break now, and then we're going to jump right into the royalty provision. And I'm telling you, stay tuned. Re-listen to the show on Monday. If there's too much here, it's going to be a lot of information. So go back on Monday, pagasleaseattorney.com, listen again, get some good information. Remember, not specific advice for anybody, but specific advice to get your own specific advice. Okay, you're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can contact us anytime, 570-307-0702. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every Sunday on this station from 8 to 9 a.m. And make sure you go check out pagasleaseattorney.com. Check out pipelineattorney.com. If you listen to the show, you're a new listener, we have hours and hours and hours available on the websites, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Today's show will be up Monday. Go check it out. Okay, let's get into it. And I've been chomping at the bit to get into this. So, okay, SWEPI lease offer, royalty payments. Now, this gets a bit complicated, so bear with me. I may be a bit repetitive because I want the points to come across. Remember, we have multiple issues with royalties. Simplest one, what is the royalty percentage you're being offered? Secondly, how are your royalties going to be calculated? Are you going to have post-production costs such as pipeline gathering, pipeline transportation, compression, possibly processing, dehydration? Are those costs going to be subtracted from your royalty? In case anyone didn't know, you really don't want costs deducted. Now, does that mean you can get no cost deducted? Well, that depends. It depends. I'm a believer, my opinion, if people stopped signing leases that allowed for post-production cost deductions, then you would start see companies changing. I have seen just recently company offer a client of mine, well, we'll take post-production costs, but we'll put a cap on those costs. So as a quick example, the Marcellus Shell Coalition put out some information saying that in February 2016, the average post-production costs in Pennsylvania were approximately 82 cents per MCF or per unit of gas. 82 cents average. Let's just play with that number for a second before we dive into this royalty provision. 82%, or I'm sorry, 82 cents. Meaning that, and then another thing, I'm out here, I'm hearing these guys, I've seen emails from landmen. I've had clients tell me, oh yeah, we're being told that the deductions will be about 1.5%, 2%, maybe 1%. I tell you what, I'd love to talk to the person who's saying that and find out what their basis is. Love to talk to that person, because quite frankly, that's impossible to say. Impossible. Think about it. If the average is 82 cents per unit, well, if your gas sells at $1 per unit because of the price of gas, well, subtract 82 cents from $1, and that gives you 18 cents. So you would be receiving your royalty for 18 cents worth of gas. Well, 82 out of 100 is closer to 82% than it is 1.5. There are landowners. Trust me, there are landowners. I represent them. There are landowners who have not received any royalty checks at all, despite their gas being pumped every single month out of their well, because the post-production costs are equal to or greater than the price the gas is selling for. So real quick, if the average is 82, let's pretend that some people, let's add 18 cents to some, because that's an average. So for some people, the price per unit in post-production cost is going to be $1. Well, think about it. My example, if you sell the gas for $1 and the post-production costs are $1, then you get $0 in royalty. Again, average 1.5%, 2%. $1 royalty, $1 sell price, $1 deduction equals 0 royalty, equals deductions totaled 100% of the person's royalty share. So people are out there signing on a representation. Oh yeah, these deductions 1.5%, maybe 2%. Oh, fine. You know what? I'll sign an agreement anytime if I was a landowner. Well, unless I could get no deductions. But if they guaranteed me 1.5% or 2% would be the most the deductions would be taken, where's the agreement? Let's start signing. If we can't do better, let's start signing that. But yeah, you tell me that these deductions are 1.5%, 2%. Sometimes they tell you they're 1%, but you tell me they're 1.5%, 2%. Okay, put it in writing. Let's make it a part of the agreement. You can take deductions, but they can't exceed, will be nice, 2% of my royalties. The deductions are capped at 2%. Well, I will guarantee you that company won't do it, because verbal statements aren't part of any agreement. Verbal statements, in most cases, mean literally nothing. What matters is what's in the agreement. So anytime, well, we'll do this, we'll do that. Deductions are only this. Deductions are only that. Well, let's get it in writing. What do you do? No, they can't answer that. Oh, we can't do that. Well, why can't you do it? You just told me deductions are only 2%. Why can't you do it? I'll be nice. I'll be real nice. Let's give you 3%. Let's give you 3%. Oh, well, don't tell me that my deductions are going to be 1.5% or 2% when, first off, I don't know how anyone in the world can possibly truthfully make that representation. Don't know. I see royalty checks after royalty checks. I see 70, 80, 90, 100% of royalties eaten up in deductions in many cases. Not everywhere, but many cases. So don't sit there and tell people that deductions are only 1.5% or 2% when it's just an impossible thing to say, unless you have a guaranteed fixed price on transportation and gathering costs and a guaranteed fixed sell price every month. I, again, look at a lot of royalty checks, and I don't see the same sell price of gas every month. It just doesn't happen. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm here with you every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you the information you need as the Pennsylvania landowner. So, okay, I have an enormous problem with a representation that royalty deductions are only going to be 1%, 2%, 3%. I don't care what you say. There's no way you can say that. And landowners are being told that, and I believe signing based upon what I think is a clear misrepresentation. Show me any data whatsoever that says that. And I'll show you, I got hundreds of royalty checks sitting in my office. And I'll tell you this, our numbers ain't anywhere near close to those numbers of 1.5% or 2%. And just think about this too. Marcellus Shale Coalition saying that the average post-production cost on this study from February 2016, the average is about 82 cents per MCF. So if you're selling the gas at $1, that's an 18-cent difference. That means that the deductions, 82 out of $1, this is math I can do, is 82%. Not 2%, 82%. Those deductions are 82% of the sell price. 82%. Okay. All right. I got to regroup. So, okay. I'm going to talk about now this lease. So we got an idea of deductions. Let's talk about this lease. So, SWEPI lease form offered. This is a form. These aren't addendums. This is a form document set out there. So this one says, and I'm going to get to, all right, I'm going to paraphrase some and I'm going to quote some. So it's 15% royalty on proceeds actually received by the company for the sale of the gas. And it includes the deductions for same percentage, meaning 15 and 85% for the company. So you share the post-production costs, which is normal when you share them. Post-production costs include, but not limited to, 1, all losses of produced volumes, whether by evaporation, use as fuel, line loss, flaring, venting, or otherwise. And number 2, all costs actually incurred by the company, and now please pay attention, and if applicable, by the company's affiliate. I'm going to really, really blast this in a second. Okay, so number 2, all deductions include all costs incurred by the company or the company's affiliate from downstream of the wellhead, including without limitation, all gathering, dehydration, compression, treatment, processing, marketing, transportation costs incurred in connection with the sale of the production. Remember, that's the companies or the affiliates. Bottom line, everything is deductible. Then it goes on. Should the company, please pay attention here, should the company transfer or otherwise dispose of the gas to an affiliate of the company, then the landowner shall receive 15% of the hire of the following 2 things. Let me restate so this is everyone's following here. So, company, this lease, SWEPI lease, saying that if we sell it to an affiliate of ourselves, meaning a subsidiary, a part of an affiliate, okay, an affiliated company to themselves, so self-dealing. So if we sell it to ourselves, an affiliate company. So if we do that, then you, the landowner, are going to get the hire of the following 2 things. Generally speaking, we like to hear the hire of the 2 things, but we want the two things to be, good things. The hire of two bad things, not so great. The hire of two very good things, very nice. So, okay, if they sell to an affiliate, then you get to hire 15% of the hire of these two things. Number one, the sales proceeds received by the company from the transfer of the gas to its affiliate. Okay, I hope that has some red flags popping, but let me tell you now why there should be. If they sell it to themselves, their affiliate, you get that price, the hire of two things. One being what they sell it to themselves for. Now, let me just tell you, any human being should want a sales price from two non-affiliated companies, a market transaction at what they call arm's length. That's what you want. You want the fair deal. That's what we want. We just want a fair deal. Fair deal. We want the price that whenever you as a producer, you sell it to an unrelated company and we get our royalty calculated from that price. Pretty darn reasonable. The company's saying we're able to sell it to ourselves, to our affiliate, we can sell it to our affiliate and we're going to pay you that price. Well, the affiliate by nature, it's an affiliated company. So we need to be super careful that they're going to sell it to themselves at a cheaper rate than what market is. So then we say, okay, well, remember, the company's saying we're going to give you the higher of these two things, the higher of the two. So one is whatever we elect to sell it to ourselves at, to our affiliate at. That's quite scary. Number two, then, maybe we get to recover on number two. Well, here goes number two. Number two says, or the average daily published price for natural gas at the nearest interstate pipeline. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, as I hear all the time from landowners, and understandably, go look at the Henry Hub, go look online, go look in the Wall Street Journal, go find out what the price of natural gas is. Then look at your check where you're getting natural gas and you're seeing the price. And you're going to find all across Pennsylvania that the price that you're seeing on your check is not the price that you're seeing as a national price, a national index, because classic market, supply and demand. We have a ton of gas and we don't have a lot of pipelines enough to get them out interstate. So we're seeing this extra supply and low demand and not a lot of ways to get this gas out. So your local price, the index price locally in Pennsylvania, not good. And boy, stay with me because I'm going to illustrate exactly how not good it can be. So again, you have one of these leases. This is general discussion. You got to know this, but get a review and consultation. This is stuff you have to know. Now, you may decide to sign, and that's fine, but you need to know this before you sign. So again, recap real quick before the break. They're saying if we sell it to ourselves, and I'm going to tell you, I strongly suspect that will occur, my opinion. We sell it to ourselves. Will they give you the price that we sell it to ourselves at? That's what you can pay a royalty. Or we'll use the local index, the price at a local index, which is going to be an extremely low price relative to what you may get on the open market, in my opinion. And I'm going to explain some numbers that support that. And that's not where you want to be. So stay tuned. It's going to get more interesting, I promise you. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me every Sunday on this station, 8 to 9 a.m. each and every week. Check out pagasleaseattorney.com. Check out pipelineattorney.com. Been doing the show for over 6 years. Hours and hours of the show on the websites. Check it out. So, okay, let's get into it here. All right, so here's what we got. Royalty provision. We're just talking now about affiliated sales. So this SWEPI form lease says that if they sell the gas to themselves, okay, we're going to paraphrase a bit. You sell the gas to yourselves, we're going to give you royalties based on the higher of these one or two things. One is we're going to give you royalties based on the price we sell it to ourselves at, which is very concerning because maybe they sell it to themselves at a lower price, and then the affiliated company who takes the gas at a low price, and they get it at $1. They buy it at the wellhead at $1. Then they go and take it to market and sell it for $3. Well, under that system, you would get royalty at $1, not the $3. Classic move that gas companies do. And you better darn well know about it because, in my opinion, you're going to get significantly less royalties under this royalty calculation system. And I'm going to explain with some numbers here in this section. Okay, number 2. So we're going to give you either the price that we elect to sell it to ourselves at. Gosh, you got to be worried about that. Or here's your catch-all savior. Or we'll give you we'll set the gas price at the average daily published price for natural gas at the nearest interstate pipeline. Well, let me tell you guys, that price is not a very high price. And I'm involved, and I'm going to get I'm involved in a lawsuit against the company now for just this type of thing. But this lease is spelling out that we can do it as a company, spelling out that we can do it, saying that, hey, look, we can sell it to ourselves and we'll give you the local index, the local market point price, the published average daily price. Regardless if we sell it at $3 and the local price is $1, we're going to keep that extra money and you're not going to get royalties on that. You need to be aware of this, guys. You need to be aware of this. And what's hilarious? Well, not hilarious. Look, go back and look at the early SWEPI leases and the East leases. They didn't have this language. This language was added. Why was it added? Well, I would argue very, very strongly, and I don't need to get loud about it. It was added so they can sell it to themselves, an affiliated company, and then give you the lowest possible royalty price per unit. Then they can go and transport the gas, their affiliate does, gets a higher price, and you don't get the benefit. So you think, oh, well, okay, we get this local price. Generally speaking, that lowest price is one of the lowest prices in the country. So it's not doing you any favor. You would much prefer, if they're going to sell it to their affiliated company, then we want the price that the affiliated company gets when they sell it to the third party that's not related to either SWEPI or the affiliate. So when that affiliate takes control of the gas and moves it on and finally engages in a real market third party transaction with a non-related company, that's the price that we want. And as you can see in this language, that's not the price that the company wants to give you. Of course not. Because that's almost, in my opinion, going to be a higher price. So it's a way, in my opinion, to pay you less royalties. And then here's another kicker. Like, you just see a landowner figuratively like getting beat down here, and then you throw in and pounding you over the head, and then we're going to pound you a little more. Next sentence. Both those items 1 and 2, 1 being we'll give you the price that we charge ourselves. 2 being whatever the local interstate pipeline price is, the average price. The last sentence of this says both 1 and 2, both of those 2 royalty calculations are subject to the company's right to deduct landowners' royalty percentage share from post-production costs. So we're going to give you the local index price, which is in the vast majority of cases, in my opinion, going to be lower and sometimes much lower than what the gas is actually sold for once it's sold to a third party. You're going to see a lower price in most cases. And then we're going to take deductions from that price. We're going to take deductions from that price. Look at your lease if you're offered a lease from SWEPI. Look at that. Paragraph 4, page 1. Look at it, read it, understand it. And maybe you go ahead and you sign. I'm not telling you not to sign. I'm not telling you to sign. I'm saying read it and understand it. Read it and understand it. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. So you're saying to yourself, you know what, this guy, he's all pro landowner. What's he, he's all, he's unreasonable. What's wrong with this guy? Well, let me give you some numbers. These are real numbers. These are numbers from a lawsuit that I'm involved in. So here we go. So a company, this landowner had different companies. More than one company is paying the landowner royalties. We're going to focus on two to make this simple. So you sign a lease with Company A. Company A sells a portion of the lease to Company B. So then you as a landowner get royalty checks from two companies, Company A and Company B. Well, in this case, for a few years, Company A and B was giving the landowner a unit royalty price. So the price of gas per unit was based on a certain calculation that, and we'll say Company A was using a calculation that we would sell it to an affiliated company at the wellhead. That affiliated company would then transport this gas and pay for that to take it to market. Then we pay the landowner on the price that we get from the affiliate when they sell it to a third party. Let me back up. Okay, this gets confusing, so I want to make sure I get this nice and clean here. So one company does what we're afraid of, where they sell it to their affiliate at the wellhead, but they don't give the landowner the price they sell it to themselves at. I applaud that. I applaud it. Very good. So far, so good. Even continues good. They take the gas when the affiliate company takes control of it at the wellhead. That company then moves it to market and ultimately sells it to a non-related, non-affiliated company, what I would call a third-party transaction. So that company, say they go out and they market the gas. Now, typically, my experience is they're going to beat the local index price because they're motivated. They want to get the most money they can. So they go out, they sell it, and get a price per unit. Now, Company B, they for a while had a certain pricing system, and then they changed it. And what did they change it to? They sell it to themselves at the wellhead. Sell it to themselves at the wellhead, just like many, many, many companies do. Sell it to an affiliated company. Sell it to not themselves, but an affiliated company at the wellhead. They take control of the gas. They then say, okay, landowner, the price that we're going to pay you royalty on is going to be your local index price. And in this case, it's the Tennessee Zone 4 Marcellus price, a published price. Well, again, coincidentally, happens to be one of the lowest prices out there in the country. Certainly a heck of a lot lower than what you're reading as national prices. So Company A is giving you royalty based on, they're setting the unit price of gas based upon what the price is that their affiliated company can receive in the market. And the other company is selling it to themselves and not giving you the price that the gas is ultimately sold to a third party. They're giving you the Tennessee Zone 4 hub price. Well, let's talk about some of these numbers. I'm going to give you some illustration. Well, what turned us on to all this is all of a sudden, out of the blue, this company's royalty unit price, the price of gas per unit that they were selling the gas at, just dove straight down. And we said, what in the world is going on here? So after some time and digging through and getting to the bottom of it, we figured it out. So here's some examples. Company A, who affiliates going out and marketing the gas, and they're giving you the unit price based upon how that gas is sold to a third party. Here's some numbers, and this is just going down the order in some months. So 1 month, Company A, who's out there marketing their gas to third parties, sold it at $3.09. That same month, the other company under the same lease who used the local index price gave the landowner the unit price of $2. So the one company, your unit price is $3. The other one that month, it was $2. They $2 used the index price. Next month, $2, Company A selling to third parties, $2.99. Company B using local index price, $1.64. So essentially $3 versus $1.64. Next month, $3.90, hub price $2.69. Going down, here's a great one. Company A getting you the price to sell, $6.49. Tennessee Zone 4 that month, $3.05. $3.05 versus essentially $6.50. More than double. Next month, $4.23 was the hub price. The sell price that the other company paid royalties on was $6.09. Next month, the company sold the gas and gave you royalties on $4.42. The local hub price paid by the other company was $1.97. Okay, I could keep going and going and going, but this is just consistent. Time and time again, month after month, the company paying the landowner royalties on the Tennessee Zone 4 price is in almost all cases lower, and in many cases significantly lower, including 2 times lower. So now remember, you then under this lease, if SWEPI or whoever develops this lease, they sell it to themselves, you're going to get the higher of the price that they sell it to their affiliate at. When I say themselves, I mean the affiliated company. They sell it to their affiliated company. You get that price, which is almost always going to be, really, the second fallback is, if it's not, you're either going to get that price or you're going to get the price at the local hub point. And I believe you're going to find it to be mostly the hub point price, which, as I sit here, time and time again, the gas being sold in a real transaction is beating the hub price in virtually every case. And I mean, a bunch of these cases, it is significant. Very common to see 50 cents, $1. And again, the one example right here, the 1 month, the hub price was $3.05. The other company who sold it out and paid the landowner on the third-party transaction, $6.49. $6.49 versus $3.05. Think about that. So think about the impact that's going to have in your royalties. Oh, and by the way, they can take that hub price, which is almost always going to be lower than the price that the affiliated company is going to sell the gas at for real, in a real transaction to a third party. They take the hub price, and if you haven't had enough destruction of your royalty potential, then from that hub price, they're going to take deductions from that hub price that they're giving you. You need to know this. You may decide, hey, look, I'm getting a bonus offer that outweighs these concerns about royalties. You may say, hey, look, I'm really old, and this bonus offer is what I'm most concerned about. And hey, if I get any royalties in the future, that's fine. Or you may say, hey, look, I have generations, I have children, I have grandchildren. I want to make sure that I'm maximizing this deal. You need to be thinking about these things. I'll stress yet again, not specific advice, sign or don't sign. Not at all. Specific advice is you need to get advice for you. And that's why I say, and commercial alert, but these reviews and consultations where you go over these issues, and there are a bunch other ones here. There are a bunch of other ones. We go over these issues and explain and talk them through. And sometimes people decide to sign, sometimes people decide to wait. That's your individual choice. But you have to go in with your eyes open. And I'd be willing to bet anyone out there, Tioga County, any county, that landmen aren't out there explaining, oh, well, here's how this provision would apply. And yeah, companies do these self-dealing, sell to affiliates. Oh, by the way, we would use the Tennessee Zone 4 price here. Here it is relative to the Henry Hub price. Here it is relative to what other companies are obtaining on markets with legitimate third-party transactions. And yeah, your price is probably going to be lower, and we're going to take deductions. I'd be willing to bet that it's not discussed. Probably a lot of times they don't even know, but they're certainly not going to discuss it with you. All right, this is a good time to take another break. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, getting you the information that you need to know to make the right decision. If you're interested in review and consultation, highly recommend it. Give us a call. Learn more. 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702. You can join me right here every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m., and I'll be right back after this super important message. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm going to jump right into it, a shorter segment here. A couple things I want to stress. Like I started the show, remember, companies do not signal if they're going to start offering more per acre bonus, higher royalty percentage, or if they're going to start to offer royalties without deductions. If you're a company and you do not want to offer landowners royalties without deductions, which you don't want to do, if you're a company, then the last thing you're going to say is, well, maybe we'll do it if you wait. We might do it. We want to sign some other people first who aren't going to fight for royalties without deductions. No. They're going to say, nope, we're not going to talk about it. Non-starter, never offer it. I'm not telling you that any company would change their mind, change their position or not. But I am going to tell you that I have seen many times where companies say, this is all we're going to offer, and then they offer more the next day. You can see it. We'll never, it has to be, for example, a 10-year lease. Well, maybe not all leases now are 10-year leases. 12.5%, that's all we're going to offer. Maybe now there's higher offers. Say, for example, $1,000 an acre. That's all we're going to offer. Maybe that offer's gone up. No post-production costs. We have to take full deductions. Well, maybe that offer will change again in the future. Maybe that position will change. I'm going to tell you, I've dealt with multiple companies and even a company in Tioga County who had said, nope, not going to do it, not going to offer royalty without deductions. Then the phone rings. Well, yeah, we're going to offer this royalty without deduction term now. I'm not telling you it changes. I'm just saying that just because a company says they're not going to do something doesn't mean they change their mind or they go ahead and do exactly what they told you they weren't going to do. Again, simple example. We're not going to pay more than $500 an acre and 15% or 12.5%. Then fast forward several months, people were getting $5,000 an acre and 20 and 21%. After I had heard, and you've heard out there, time and time again, we're not going to raise, this is it, we're paying too much, we're not going to pay any more. Then the prices break and things change drastically. So again, I can't tell you that things are going to change. I'm going to tell you, though, that just because a company says something doesn't mean they're going to stick in that position forever. And all you have to do is look historically. And all you have to do is look, Tioga County, look around the last few months, see how these things have changed. The other thing, reviews and consultations, not preaching this solely, look, it's a business thing for me, but my gosh, it's so valuable to get this information out to you. And I'm doing more and more. I talk about these so much because every phone call ends with, wow, this was a really good experience. It's not a verbatim every sentence or every person, but no, wow, I'm so glad I did this. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize that. And they still may decide to sign. But they're informed and educated and understand these royalty calculation issues and what does it really mean. And there's so much misinformation that is out there, and you can't look at this as a single individual. I've seen, again, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of royalty checks by all kinds of different companies all across Pennsylvania. And to understand what you're getting into, as a general rule, you don't get two chances. People in Tioga, many are getting lucky because they're getting a second chance because the market went down so much that the companies stopped drilling, and now their leases are expiring in whole or in part. And we got to take advantage of these opportunities for you, the landowner. I also want to say that, look, my clients sign documents, but my clients don't sign documents that aren't right for them. So we just want you to get the information so you can decide, is this the right deal for you? And just this past week, talked to a couple landowners. I know one was going to move forward and take the deal. they were offered a little bit more money than what I've seen other people offered by the same company in the same exact area. They had a provision that was very beneficial regarding how the company could operate on their property. They needed that bonus money in their specific situation, and they recognized all of the issues with royalty calculation, deductions, affiliated sales, and said, you know what, we're still going to do this, but boy, our eyes are really opened, and thank you, and this was a great time to learn about this information. And again, we're talking about an hour or two combined after reviewing the lease, reviewing the documents, looking at activity in the area, and having a conference call with the landowners. So it's not this investment. And I say that because I think people get afraid. Oh, lawyers, oh, what's that going to be? Oh, they're going to get their claws into me. It's going to, this isn't going to be good. Well, we do these with this non-commitment hour or two of time, depending upon it. It depends on what you have and how detailed it is. But it's a service to get you this basic but very critical information to answer all of your questions and concerns. And so if you're going to do it, you're doing it with full information. You understand it, and you're making the right decision for yourself. You're going to understand royalties. You're going to understand royalty deductions. You're going to understand affiliated sales. You're going to see where the strengths and weaknesses are. The other thing is, most likely I represent other people around you or have and understand what the market is, and to make sure that you're not signing a 10-year lease when other people are signing 7-year leases. You're not signing for 15 or 13 or 14% when other people are signing at 15% right down the road. We need to make sure that you're getting the best possible agreement at the time. The best possible agreement. And I don't care where you're located in Pennsylvania. You can always call, learn more about it. We do much, much more, but I'm just talking about reviews and consultations for a minute. Review, consultation, I don't care what the agreement, gas lease, amendments, gas leases, pipeline agreements, compressor station agreements, real estate, sale of oil and gas rights. Do not sell or sign a paper to sell your oil and gas rights without doing a review and consultation with me or somebody that knows what they're doing, because these documents are bad and they're very company friendly, and normally you can change them and enter into a much better deal, and you're probably going to make yourself significantly more money in the process and protect yourself from a potential catastrophic result. And I've seen those. So we have to protect you. You have to protect yourself. Whether you call me 570-307-0702, or please call someone who's working for you to explain these issues to you. I am terrified in 5 years from now, like let's say Tioga County, I'm really afraid that what we're going to see is landowners are getting less royalties than what we're seeing elsewhere as far as from the whole bottom line type deal, because this language is so clearly written where it didn't exist before, clearly written to allow for affiliated sales at the wellhead and then pay you, the landowner, the local hub interstate pipeline price, which is going to probably be significantly lower than what that gas is actually sold to a third party, a non-affiliated party. It's written there. If you understand and you deal with these issues, it's right there in front of your face. If you don't deal with these issues, you're not even going to pay attention to it. You're going to just see, oh, well, they sell to themselves, I have some protection. If they were going to ask for the Henry Hub price, ask for a different price. Ask for a cap on royalty. We talked about, I said that the Marcellus Shale Coalition saying that the average deductions based upon this study from February 2016 is about 82 cents per unit of gas. 82 cents. Some companies are willing to cap deductions at, say, 30 cents, 35 cents, 40 cents. There are a lot of different things that you can do. But if you're going to sign a royalty or a lease that allows for royalty deductions and affiliated sales, boy, you better darn well know what that means, so you're not surprised later, because you're going to get significantly less royalty than someone in the same exact position who had a lease that precluded deductions and or precluded affiliated sales with this royalty calculation language. Okay, I'm over. As always, I'm going to leave you with a couple things. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I do not, will not, have not represent oil and gas companies. Never have, never, ever will. Please stop signing bad agreements. Stop signing agreements without the necessary information that you need to make the best decision, to make the right decision for you and your family. And do not rely on the gas company landman as your source of education and information, your sole source, because they work for the oil and gas company, not you, the landowner. Again, you're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone.